The Beginning, an Old Testament Journey. Episode 9. We're going to be covering Moses chapter 1 out of the Pearl of Great Price. If you're not familiar with this document or this book, please refer to the description below where you'll find a link to the Pearl of Great Price. This is a really important chapter for understanding who we are, especially when we go against the adversary. The adversary is constantly around us. He comes without glory or without light, and that's something that we learn deeply about Moses chapter 1. Moses and God have a conversation. I believe that this conversation, recorded in the book of Moses, was part of Moses's visitation from God in the burning bush. Moses receives a great deal of information, but what I want you to remember and what I want to emphasize about Moses chapter 1 is that God repeatedly calls Moses my son, and that he was made in the similitude of God's only begotten, even Jesus Christ. After Moses has this experience of being called God's son and beholding the glory of God, Satan, as he always does, comes tempting Moses to believe him, to worship him. Moses, Satan says, son of man, worship me. Moses immediately fires back with all the reasons he shouldn't worship Satan. Where is Satan's glory? He did not have to be transfigured like he did with God. Why should he worship Satan? Satan's response, out of anger, trembling, and in verse 19, he said, he cries with a loud voice and ranted upon the earth and commanded, saying, I am the only begotten, worship me. For a moment, Moses fears and trembles. Then he remembers to call on God. This is a perfect example for us in our lives and how we should respond to the adversary. When Moses calls on God, Satan trembles. He fears, and he leaves Moses alone. When you face difficult situations in your life, take this example of Moses. Whether you believe it's fictional, true, or created by Joseph Smith, it is a perfect example of how we should handle the adversary in any aspect of our life. Turn to God and ask for his presence in your life. Thank you so much for joining me today. We'll see you in the next episode.